Good morning,
Okay.
everybody.
Seems as if we are having. Can you hear me okay, Brandon?
Mm-hmm.
No?
Can you hear me?
Something's going on. I don't know if it's the weather, but let's check here, you guys. Be patient with us. You're good?
Mm-hmm. I'm
I
good.
can't hear
I just.
you.
Mm.
Okay, let's. All right.
Mm.
You can hear me? I
Mm-hmm.
can't. All right, give us just a moment. Get online, okay? Carry on. No, they maybe can hear you though. But just go ahead because we just went back to live. To stream. Can you hear me now? Okay. I can't hear you. Um, it says your mic is muted.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Not today. What
Okay.
is going
One
on?
second. Let me see.
We're checking, you guys. It may be the weather, but not sure. Okay, let's try pulling him again. We did nothing
Hey, can you hear me?
different. Okay, how are we now?
Are we good? Can you hear me? Mic check one,
Okay,
two.
not good, not good. Okay, I'm gonna
What?
try to go. Well, hmm,
You want to read it?
um, oh, this is crazy. All right, let me see what I can hear on. What about Instagram? Is Instagram okay? Can they hear you? Because if so, you guys can go on.
Let's see. Mic check one, two.
And I'll still just sit here and man the studio.
Let me see right here. Yep. Instagram can hear me. Cool. That's cool. Instagram can hear me.
Okay.
Okay. Instagram can hear me. They can hear me. Can you see me now? Okay. Cool. Well, I'll just roll with it, y'all.
Okay. So let me
Maybe you.
try to go live so I can hear you here.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, y'all. We had some technical difficulties. Welcome, family. Peace, family. I'm gonna mute this over here so it won't be an echo. Welcome, beautiful people. This is a celebration of Black History Month. We had some technical difficulties this morning with weather. We got lightning, all kind of stuff going on here. So I don't know how that's impacting us on this stream, but whatever
Okay.
have you. We
So
are here live.
I'm going to try to do this from here.
Okay,
Okay.
we're good.
No.
We're good. So we're gonna be on the show. All right. I'm trying to tell my mother that we're gonna be doing with this, but I don't think she can hear me. It's all good. See my boy Jeremiah Simmons what's up, Jay? Good to see you, brother. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for being here this morning. So these are our daily motivations for African success. We are reading from the book with that same title by Dennis Kimbro, a best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. And in acknowledgement of Black History, we are going through each one of these days um, with with a daily motivation and reading the affirmation and the daily quote. So this book will help you to focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. And 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year. Dennis leads us to discover how to use the moment and our own gifts to train labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough when to say yes and no, and to look for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words from such distinguished, celebrated African Americans as Malcolm, Miriam Wright Elderman, Elaine Hunter Galt, Carl Rowan, Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and of others. This trove of practical inspiration will give you encouragement every day of the year. What it teaches will last you a lifetime. So thank you guys again for rocking with us this morning. Peace, family. We are having some technical difficulties on the side of, I guess I'll point to my mother, the butterfly, where she can hear me. But I think we're going to try to work through it as best we can. So this is day 10. If you have not been here, every day we've been going through these past, reading them together and discussing them the day before. So I'll right into it. If there's any other
Move
people on the Facebook,
myself.
let me know where you at. I will put the chat so y'all can see what y'all are saying. Cool. We got a couple people in. We're going to jump right into it for February the 10th. So the title today is Say, do you know where I can find a job? Man. Title is again, Say, do you know where I can find a job? And the quote is by Louis Armstrong, who's a famous African-American musician. And the quote is, man, if you got to ask, you'll never know. Again, the quote is, man, if you got to ask, you'll never know, by Louis Armstrong, the famous musician. We were all saddened to learn of the death this week of one of our most hardworking citizens. Someone else is passing a huge void in our community that will be difficult to fill. Else was with us for many years. The level of his caring and commitment was highly evident. Someone else did far more than a normal person's share of the work. Whenever there was a job to do, overtime to pull, or a meeting to attend, one name was on everyone's lips. Let someone else do it. It was acknowledged that someone else was the hardest worker in our neighborhood. Whenever there was a need, everyone just assumed someone else would volunteer. Someone else was a wonderful, often appearing super. In all honesty, everyone expected too much of someone else. Now, someone else is gone. What will happen to our schools, our churches, our children, our neighbors? Someone else left a marvelous example to, but who is do the work someone else did? Black America cannot depend on someone else anymore to build our communities, develop our institutions, lift our race. It's up to you. And the quote for today is, today I will take the initiative to help my community move forward. Today I will take the initiative to help my community move forward. Say that again. Today I will help my community move forward. So I would love to know what my mother thinks about this. But if you guys are in, while I try to pull her in, let me know what you thought about this passage. Say, do you know where I can find a job title? And the affirmation today is, today I will take the initiative to help my community move forward. So what do y'all think about that? Jay Salama chat. Modest Chicana baby in the chat. How you doing? Let me know what y'all think about that. And the title, say, do you know where I can a job? So to me, first blush, when you read this title, one, this is a tell us about what attribute or what characteristics that one should have in order to find a job or to find placement somewhere for employment. But upon reading the passage, it hits you immediately and says that they were all saddened to learn of the death of one of our most hardworking citizens, someone else. How many times have we known that there was an action to do, but for whatever reason, whether it be excuse or whatever it is, we weren't the ones to do it, and the job didn't get done, and other people suffered from it. It could be everything as small as you didn't bring that one dish that that everybody loves and was expecting at the cookout. When you get there, because of your lack of planning or because you figured, people will make other things, you just decided not to bring it, but still show up at the cookout. And speaking of the cookout, man, this daily motivations for African American success, but you do not have to be African to attend. Obviously, this is a live stream across multiple platforms. But if you are here and you're not African American, you still can rock with us. These motivations and these affirmations are something that you also can learn. But with lessons and passages like today, it is specifically to the African American diaspora, African diaspora, and the African Americans specifically, with historical context to the collective story. So learn with us. Experience this with us and let us chat what you think as well. But again, at first blush, I thought it was going to be something about attributes and characteristics finding a job, and what you need to do to put your best foot forward. But rather, what it was about was not depend on someone else. Don't depend on someone else. I wonder how many of us, speaking to myself, see the ills of the world. We know about certain causes that we believe morally, our values. People say you stand on principles. I understand with people standing on principles, but are you walking with principles? Are you talking with principles? Are you exemplary in the principles that you believe in? And I think that is who this mysterious and ambiguous someone else is. I think the someone else is actually you. Say, do you know where I can find a job? You have the job. That is the job. The someone else is, you're the person that can help your community and uplift your community. And by starting with yourself. And once you're done with yourself, to those closest to you, your family, your closest friends and associates, your neighbors. That's that ambiguous someone else that we all kind of look to. Right? We look to and expect to do something. We're having crime here in Memphis, Tennessee. I think we had 396 or 398 homicides as of December 28, 2023. We may have even made it to 400 in the last couple of days. But what are we doing about it as a community?
Hear me now?
What are we doing about it? Yeah, can you hear me?
Sorry.
Can
you all hear me now, Brandon?
I can. We can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. With us for a little bit. We're gonna try to get this right.
I can't hear me.
Yeah, your internet, Mississippi. Area Jordan, thank you for that point. Appreciate you being in the chat. Who else we got out here? The Modest Chicana said, remember the difference of panhandling here in the States as compared to ones in other countries such as Mexico. Explain that point a little bit more for me. Talk with us for a little bit. We're gonna try to figure with audio my mother's in. It has been hailing, it has raining, it has been thunderstorming, but that ain't no excuse. We still here, and either it's gonna show the way we want it to, or not, but we still gonna rock with it. Ain't so. Let me know, Tamaria, what do you think about this? That's you specifically. You rocking with us and that you attending. What do you think at this point in this title? You know where I can find the title and the quote being, man, if you gotta ask, you'll never know. What does that quote, if you gotta ask, you'll never know, have to do with someone else, the mysterious someone else that everybody else depends on to do the community work, to go pick up grandma when she needs to go and volunteer, go do to pick up the trash around it. I'll speak for myself. In our community, we have ice storms or storms having right now. A lot of you'll see, especially after trash. Sometimes the trash guys love doing the job that a lot of people won't do. The some of the trash will be out. Like they'll try to dump it in the truck and maybe a piece or two. Like yesterday, there was a bottle of glue in front of my house that obviously came when the trash guys picked it up. Instead of walking by, it was in the street in front of my house, actually on my property, but it was street. And instead of just parking and going in my house, I went out to the middle of the street and picked up the big glue bottle as it's dripping in my hand and put it in the trash. I could have left it there and said, "Well, that ain't mine. It ain't on my property. It's not from going back and forth." But just the fact that it was a visually displeasing thing. It was litter in the neighborhood. I felt responsible to pick it up and throw it away. Uh, it did not inconvenience me at all to go and pick that up. If anything, it made space more beautiful for me and more beautiful for neighbors. But I could have easily just gone in the house and be like, that's someone else. I didn't do that. The guys left that. Or ran it over and burned a little glue. I didn't that. Why am I going to sit out there and clean it? It's not my responsibility. That abandonment of responsibility, the abandonment of the commons, abandonment of its village mentality, is really being shown in some of our communities, especially from what I can see in urban communities, but maybe also in rural communities, are deteriorating. The social fiber, that keeps us all together is deteriorating. You can tell not only by the crime that is running rampant, specifically here in Memphis, but also by how well we even keep up with the things that we own, from our cars to our homes to ourselves. Yes, there has been a lack of funding. Yes, there's been a lack of funding for education, for infrastructure improvements. Yes, they're sending billions of dollars overseas to kill over 30,000 children in Gaza, and millions in other places if you add them all up. And these are all excuses for us to say that someone else will take care of it. Someone else will clean up. Someone else will go and tutor the children. If we have education, then we have a responsibility to provide it to other people, specifically in our community. I don't think people are looking for a handout. I think people are looking for a hand up, or I won't even say they're looking, but and as people who have hands, as people who have abilities, as people who are blessed with abundance, and all abundance is more than you need. Let me say that again. Abundance. They say, you want to live in abundance. I want to be abundant and all these other things. Doesn't mean excess. There's a difference between abundance and excess. What are you expecting? What are you expecting when you say, I speak abundance into my life? Do you mean a garden that bears much fruit so that you can give charity to your family, so you can cut them off, so you can get some of them greens for them, give them some tomatoes and bell pepper? Or do you mean I want abundance, meaning I want a Lamborghini, I want a bigger house, I wanted this, So when I see that title say, do you know where I can find a job? What are you looking for? Are you looking to get paid excessively? You know, I heard this statement, and it stuck with me. Most people don't want to $1 million. They want to spend $1 million. I'll say that again. Most people don't want to make $1 million. They want to spend $1 million. And there's a different tension. There's a difference in the way that you approach that goal. There's a different there's a different view, a different lens in which you will perceive the world if you're trying to make or you're trying to make a killing. And I think we say those things interchangeably. We really should take accountability and take inventory of what we say and what we do. But think about, for this moment, what we say. Man, I'm making a killing today. Who's dying? Everything that you say is powerful. If words have power, and I think they do, I believe they do, then we have to watch how we speak to ourselves and others. Uh, if that's in love, even if we think our intention is the actual effect is what. So let's think about, do you know where I can find a job? And the job is right there in front of you. The job is cleaning up your house, and I mean that metaphorically and literally. Um, so for me, looking at this, waiting for someone else to do it, that could be taken in a relationship. Maybe it's your spouse, your husband, your wife, and you see something that's sitting on the or that needs to be done. The dishes might need to, and let's the conventional approach. A man comes home, been working all day, but he has some energy. He comes in and he sees that the whole house is clean except the dishes. The whole house is spotless except the dishes. Now, if he's a good man, in my opinion, he'll take account for, man, this whole house is clean, right? And again, as you can tell in the story, uh, there's a woman at home, right? And while he could say, babe, the house is clean. This is great. This looks, man, thank you for making this a place of peace for me when I come home. I appreciate you. It's been vacuumed. The bathrooms are clean. It smells good. The clothes are washed. Everything's put in its place. But these dishes, he could easily not say a word about it. He could easily go over there and wash them himself. But how many of us men, I'm speaking to us brothers, would go and be like, the only thing we see is dishes still, everything, okay, everything's straight. But hey, babe, what's up with these dishes? Someone else. That's just me. And maybe you agree, maybe you don't. But if you can do it yourself at that moment, you don't know what's going on. How many times do we point out the negative and not give equal weight to the positive? How many times has somebody given you, a compliment, or someone had nice words to say, or you had a pleasant experience with them, and you never told another soul about that pleasant experience? The day that they say something out the side of their neck, the day that they, you know, uh, disappoint you in some way, the day that they don't appreciate you in the way that you feel appreciated, or the day that they do something that's seemingly out of character, you go and tell people, you go and tell the world. It's a highlight reel inside of your mind. Give more weight to the negative than we do the positive. And in that, does it make apathetic to changing the communities, the spaces, our homes, ourselves? because we say, oh, someone else will do it. That's not my responsibility. So we really have to take a of ourselves. We really have to do a diagnosis of ourselves and see if we can see those same illnesses, those same diseases in our community, because I think we can. I think you can take all of our people, African Americans in general, uh, and treat us as if we're one body. Do we act as one body? Who are the leaders? Who are the heads? Who are the hands? Who are the arms? Who are the legs? Because if we're all one body, then the hand can't do what the foot does. You know, the head can't do what the heart does. Maybe the heart informs, but the heart itself is make the decisions. Do you understand where I'm coming from, guys? So do you know where I can find a job? You already have one. It's in your creation. It's in your purpose. It's innate to you. Find where the world needs you. That's something that we went over, I think, on day 2 or 3. Where does the world need you? And where does that intersect your passions, your gifts? And usually your passions. So where do you know where I can find a job? What do you like to do? What would you do for free? Be the best at that. Now build a model around that. Because someone else will. Some less means, someone less money, with less costs, with less host of different things. There are people with less that have done more. Tamaria Johnson says, well, the people used to say, quote, I am somebody. But it's so true, literally and figuratively, to your points. Thank you so much for rocking with us. I really appreciate your addition to the conversation. I think we got Butterfly back. Can you hear us now, Mom? Okay, now I can't hear you. Might be muted. I think I can hear you now. Hey, you there? Mike to Butterfly.
Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yep. We got it. We got it. I'm down best as I can, but did you get
Brandon,
the chance? Did you read this passage? Mm-hmm.
something's
Yes.
happening. I'm hearing. Okay, I know what it is. Brandon, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, y'all.
You got it? No, you good. You good.
So something,
We family.
yeah,
We y'all.
I put a little message out there. I don't know. So I don't know, y'all. But Brandon sent everything, as day 3 told us. There's a reason for everything. So it sounds like Brandon was dropping some nuggets, but I am glad I'm in because I did have some things from yesterday.
Really,
But
I was just
go ahead.
thinking. I was thinking out loud. Really, I was just thinking out loud about this. And I appreciate everybody rocking with me, because that's kind of how we run this show. Is we have not read these passages.
Right.
I've read this. I read these before. At random. Some days I've skipped certain ones. As far as taking every single day and reading this, um, we are not reading these passages the day before and then coming on here and telling. Think we're reading them for the first. I won't say the first time, but we don't remember them enough. At least I don't remember them enough to be able to be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm gonna say about this. These are our fresh experiences. These are our fresh reactions, and we are doing it with you guys live, showing that vulnerability, showing you exactly what we think and our thoughts on the situation on these passages. And Mom, I wanted to ask you, did you get to hear the passage itself?
Yes. Yes. Well, I
You did.
actually was reading it because I read it because I couldn't get on. So, and I could hear
Oh,
some
okay.
of you, but
Okay.
I got the babies, and little man he's okay, but he's still having a little issue with his stomach. So,
Ah. Ah.
yeah. But I
So
did. So, yeah, I I want to go back and just say something about yesterday, though. Yesterday, you guys, I think it's just the weather here too. I don't know, Brandon. I've lost Brandon. Isn't that something? You guys, yesterday was excuses, and I'm going to add one more excuse, and that was so empowering for me. And it's funny, you guys, we really have to be mindful of our thoughts because I have my grandbabies. If you watched yesterday, you know that. And so, a 5 and a 3-year-old who's at grandma's house is like, I don't know. It's wild. It's crazy. But I had my day planned, and for some reason, when I'm home, when I'm off, I always end up on that phone talking about something rather than attending to the plan for the day, my goals for that day. And I was several times, and hopefully Brandon will come back in. Several times I had the thought, call this person back. But what I knew it would do, if I did, it would get me off track. So let me see. Maybe this is Brandon telling me something. There he is. So I knew that it would get me off track if I did. But the little voice kept saying, call somebody, call this person. Like, so what I thought about was, y'all, there is an us in us that is against us, if that makes sense. Like, there is truly a spiritual battle going on between that person you think you are and the person who knows you're not that person. And that probably sounds so crazy. But I know I ain't the only one. And I said ain't. I know I ain't the only one that hears those things um, that are totally different from what your plan and your goal is. And that's why I think, and I'm going to use doctor. We've not been calling him doctor. We got some fun things going on about this with Dr. Dennis Kimbro. So I've not been, giving him that title, but I watched some videos on him yesterday. But I think this is why he says that it will help you focus on your thoughts, your attitudes, and your deeds. And yesterday, I thought about my thoughts, and I took every one of them captive, and I held them against where I'm going. So if you do what you got to do today, then you won't have to do it tomorrow. And guess what? Like, Brian, had I not did all those things, this morning is already crazy. Um, I wouldn't have been, well, wasn't really here either, but I wouldn't have made it even just to set the show up. It's just been a crazy morning. So I just wanted to say excuses helped me so much yesterday. Now, 7:34. We got time. I hope y'all got time for us. Um, February 10th. Someone else. I didn't hear all of what you said, Brandon. And Brandon, can you hear me? Because you're quiet over there.
I can.
Brandon,
I can. Hold on one second.
you're on twice for some reason. I don't know what's going on this morning. We're going to have to come back and do this one.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I had to mute one out because my phone had died, so I'm trying to
Okay.
keep it straight.
We are a whole mess this morning.
I don't know what's going on. Like I had it plugged up and everything, and the phone just was like, "Nope, we're not doing this today." But it's cool. It's cool. Ain't nothing gonna stop this show, baby.
I like that. That's right. Let the
Uh,
show go on.
man, what you said? If the lights go out at the concert, we gonna sing it a cappella. You feel me?
So today, what did you get out of it? Because I'll have to piggyback off of what you
Yeah,
said. Just brief. Can you summarize what you got out of today? Just
yeah,
briefly.
yeah, for sure. So honestly, this speaks to me
Mhm.
a lot right now
Oh,
because do you know where? or I can find a job. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to work for nobody but myself, God. I will work with people, you know, but as far as for me, it's not because I'm too high or mighty
Mm.
to not do it, but because I think my purpose is somewhere else, right? And working with myself, and it's been a beautiful experience for me, for my wife to be home and for me to work for myself. And it's stressful. It really is. It's stressful sometimes. Sometimes you just want to sit down, you just want to do this or whatever. But and I can give myself excuses, but I am that someone else. You know, if
Mm.
you want to change the world, then you first change yourself. And there's actually a in the Quran that says that, I'll say it in English, like if it says that God will not change the condition of a people until they first change that which is within themselves.
Mm. No,
God
what
will
that makes
not
me think
change
of
what?
that, and I don't know if we talked about this, but my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And I think we may have touched
Mm-hmm.
this on another show. Um, I often wonder, more recent now than before, is that also, or can we relate that to my people perish for a lack of knowledge of self as well, like a lack of knowledge, because we, like I said earlier, we the battle, and like I think yesterday said, it is not your environment, it is you. It is you. And so I also think we perish for a lack of knowledge of ourselves. I remember a military base doing a study, and they looked at everybody who seemed to be successful. Like they gave this questionnaire out to those people who were seemingly successful in their job, and their children were doing well, and all of this. And they found the one thing common in all those people is that they attended to themselves, that they
Mm,
made sure that they were okay so that they could pass that okayness, if that's a word, on. And so
right.
I think that knowledge, so often we pour, Brandon, I know I did it with you. And on this side of it, boy, I wish I had, it's like you asked me, where was all that awareness when you were raising me, but you were talking about your brat babies back there, right?
And I was
Because you,
joking, sweetie. I don't want you.
oh, no, no, no.
I'm
There's,
joking.
I think there's always a little truth in every joke. I really do.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure.
So, and I'm
Absolutely.
not offended by it, because I think it's absolutely a great question. And maybe it'll help a younger mother make sure that she takes care of herself, and that's not selfish. That is making sure that you're doing that so that you can take care of the people that you love, because you
Right.
can't give what you don't have. And I don't care if you don't. So we could just take physical or tangible things out of it. I'm meaning internal things. Even with love, you cannot give love, healthy love, unless you love yourself first in a healthy way. And
Right.
so often we think about, oh, you can't give what you have. If I don't have money, I can't give you money. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. If you don't have love for yourself, you can't give it on. If you don't have confidence, you can't give it on. Give that on. It's always going to show up in your life. So, as it relates to someone else, I think it's interesting how it talks about the person not being here anymore. That someone else is either died, passed on, and it makes me think about how we react to death.
Mm,
Like people, I've said this, people will spend hundreds of dollars to show up to your funeral. That's including the new outfit that they get, the travel. But if you call them while you were alive for $10, they wouldn't send it to you. Go back, baby. Go back. Grandma, be back in there. Go back. So call them. You saw he's like, but if you call them while you were alive for $10, you would get it. But when they are gone, there is a like with my grandma, there's an energy that she left here, a very positive energy for me. May not be the case for everybody else. A very positive energy for me, and we don't understand the depth of losing someone else until we lose them.
Mm,
We don't really They don't get their flowers until they're gone.
yeah, yeah. I do. And you might find this weird. I think I've told you this before, but I actually do. In the middle of the night when I wake up, I have this kind of exercise that I do, this mental exercise, and I didn't really mean to do it, um, but I do like these little death meditations where I'll be sitting in bed, and that point where you just kind of wake up, but you're not quite all the way awake. And I usually have my hands on my chest, or on my stomach like this, right? And I imagine that I'm in my grave, and I imagine the people that I'll miss. I imagine whether or not I will be missed, the people that will miss me and the people that be like, good riddance. I wonder if those people exist, and I
Brandon,
consider, yeah, yeah,
can
yeah.
I'm gonna have to go check on Tupac. I gotta go. So you guys, I just want to make sure he's okay. All right.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
So
you got it.
I'm gonna stay on up on here, but the babies come first, y'all. I'm sorry, but I just got to He's not feeling well, and I want to make sure he's okay. I'm gonna keep it up, but I'm gonna stay muted so I can hear you.
Okay,
Okay.
and hit up Sella, keep
So
Sella
I
updated.
will. He thinks he's fine, but I need to be sure for myself.
No, I
Okay.
got you, dude. I
All right.
appreciate you.
Okay.
Appreciate you. And I'll see you in a little
And
bit. Um, for me, y'all, this plays for me because as of right now, I'm working on a couple different things. Um, and not all of those things do I get paid for, you know. And to be honest with you, I really, when you're doing things that you love with people that you love, you don't always look like, hey man, you're not doing it for the money. I think I'm the best at certain things. I really do. There's certain things that I think that I'm the best at, and or I have purpose in, or there seems to be blessings in, that the reason that I'm good at them is because I'm passionate about them. I love what it is that I'm doing and the people that are receiving the benefits from what I'm doing. And I don't think all payment is fiat money, right? So there might be, for example, I'm working on uh, some work to get an approval from city council on a resolution or on a policy or on a law. And I'm working with a group of people, and none of those people, none of those activists, none of those supporters are getting paid from this. But we're working it like a job. We're doing document creation, we're having meetings because there's a public benefit, there's a communal benefit. So in my faith, and you guys might know I'm Muslim, our funerals are very different as we speak about death. And I was talking about the death reflections, meditations, whatever you call it, where I contemplate my own death, and in accepting that you will one day die and leave this physical realm. I think it's liberating. You can actually live. I think people are so afraid of death that they don't live, really live. And in Islam, or amongst the Muslim communities, a funeral, uh, is the Arabic word is janaza. The funeral is a communal obligation, right? A funeral is a communal obligation. So there are funerals that I've gone to where I never met the person ever. I didn't have a personal relationship with them. I couldn't pick them out from a crowd. But I'll be, in worship somewhere, or we'll get a text message in the whole community that says that brother so and so or sister so and so, father of this person, cousin of this person has passed away. The janaza, or the funeral, will be held, of course, in our tradition, within 3 days. Make it if you can. I have gone to funerals, changed my schedule to go to funerals of people that I had never met. Now, in Western and even in African American tradition, because a lot of it has learned and piggybacked on certain things and customs that parallel with American and Western culture because of our history. But in American culture, if you show up to a person's funeral and you didn't know them, it can be seen as offensive. It can be seen as out of place. It can be seen as almost distasteful. Whereas it was interesting, you know, with the Muslim community and even some other communities from around the world that aren't even restricted to just being Muslim, but the community would come and participate in and pray for the deceased, and that was powerful to me. Um, and I think what that with that communal obligation, it's literally an obligation. Like if somebody passes away, members of the community have to do a fulfill an obligation. So if one or two people can't make the funeral, the people that do make the funeral, they fulfill the obligation of everyone else in that community. But we all recognize that some people have to go and have this funeral for this brother or sister. And likewise, I think that transposes, that communal obligation transposes and can be a principle for us in rebuilding our communities, rebuilding our familial units. Whereas we don't look for just the individual obligations. We also look for the commitments that we have communally that are for the public good or for the common good amongst the community members. So when you see dis-ease, when you see injustice, when you see a problem, when you see something that needs to be done, when you see a load that needs to be lifted that would have a communal benefit and you have the muscle to do it, you have an obligation and responsibility to do so. Just like if you go and lift weights every day and you got all these big muscles, right? And you see a little old lady pushing a heavy load or trying to lift a load into her trunk. For you to walk past without any thought to help this woman, to me, is an irresponsible person, is an irresponsible act. That is distasteful. That is unbecoming of a human being. To me, we live in these communities. This person is our neighbor. If she's at the same store as you or she's next to you, that's your neighbor. For us to have the means to help and not help is distasteful. If I have food, if I'm full and I have food and my neighbor is hungry, that is distasteful. And I do mean my neighbor, the person that lives next door to you that you don't know, most likely now in America, that person. Love thy neighbor. How many of us even know our neighbors anymore? Do we live in communities or just little housing arrangements? You know, community, the common unity, the commons. What is it that we all benefit from? What are the benefits of even living in this community if we don't know each other, if we don't come to know each other? And what responsibilities do we have as a community? And what responsibilities do we have as an individual? I think those things need to be fleshed out or at least be analyzed within ourselves and our families. And of course, like I said earlier, God will not change the condition of a people until they first change that which is within themselves. So analyze today what is within you that allows you to give communal responsibility to someone else. Imagine if you were that someone else. I actually had a conversation yesterday with someone that said, and I'll tell you what they said, then I'll tell you the context of where we were. They said that when you die, what are people gonna say about you? This older man said, this is really important. And he said it was on the forefront of his brain and his thoughts. When I die, what will people say? Will they say, man, this was such a great loss? Will they say, this is This was such a great community. Remember, literally, they almost quoted the book, that the passage that we read today. Or will they say this was a horrible human being? Good, he was terrible. Let's just have this funeral and get this over with. How much will people feel that? And likewise, if it was a good person, if it was someone who was this someone else in the book that we all believe will take care of the things that we don't, if they were a good person, who's going to replace them? I think about my great grandmother when she passed away, feeling still feeling the presence of the experiences that we had with her, but also feeling the loss of, okay, so who's going to fill that position? Someone else? Who's going to pull that weight? And maybe it's not one person. The pillars in our community, the pillars in our family, the patriarchs, the matriarchs, the big mamas and big papas, those pillars in our community, maybe it's not one person. Maybe it's their children. Maybe we used to have dinner at grandma's house every Sunday, right? And grandma had 3 kids, and now grandma's not there. And maybe grandma ain't cooking everything now because she's gone, but maybe those 3 kids make a potluck and they fill that space. So when we build these, we talk about these institutions that we want to build. Like it said in the book, I believe, it says Black America cannot depend on someone else anymore to build our communities, develop our institutions, and uplift our race. It's up to you. Think about the institution of your family. You know, think about the upliftment of the people next to you in your family. How many of us know about starting trust funds? How many of us have reached out to family members and said, "Hey, have we done that? Have we said, hey, y'all want to put your money together and do something together?" Because it's easier for 10 people to come together and throw in money to feed 10 people than for each person to buy something individually. It will cost less. Enough for one is enough for two. Enough for two is enough for three. Enough for three is enough for four. And the proportion grows as the number does. So we're all we need. We're better together. But together means that the individuals are pulling their communal weight, not just their individual goals, intentions, and the fattening of their pockets and the raising of their own self-status. There has to be, for a healthy community, some type of communal growth, some type of and I've said this before, some type of North Star that we all move toward, or we are not a community at all. We're just people that have a shared story, a shared history. But what are we doing in the future? And who are we? Are we waiting for someone else, or is that someone else us? So today, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this because we've had some technical difficulties and we've been a little bit long today. Tamaria said, to your earlier points, community starts with us. Absolutely, community starts with us. It's the unity within ourselves, the solidarity within ourselves with the morals, the principles, and the standards and the values that we have. But many of us haven't even defined those values. Many of us haven't defined those values. Even in our relationships, do you guys know that marriage, the institution of marriage, started from a contract? We have this word. There's a Semitic word, Arabic word, nikah. It means it's contract. When you get married, there's a contract that outlined the rights of the wife and the rights of the husband. And the rights of the wife were the responsibilities of the husband to fulfill. And the rights of the husband were the responsibility of the wife to fulfill. So there is this interchanging of not just responsibility, but accountability, and saying that it has been written down in the terms and agreement prenuptially, right, of what your rights and responsibilities are, and what your partners are, and how to fulfill those. The prenup wasn't about, okay, so it's a 60-70% chance that we get divorced, so let's see how we gonna split the money, let's get that squared out now. No, this wasn't the intention. The intention was, let me be the best at fulfilling your rights. So you're absolutely right, Tamaria. But I want to leave us today, as we always do, with reading the title, reading the quote, and reading the daily affirmation 3 times. One for me, one for you, and then together for the people in the back, are the people who did not get to tune in earlier, or the people that did not get to tune in today. So please share this podcast. We do have a YouTube channel now called In This Season Podcast on YouTube, where you can find all of these 10 episodes so far in full. And we hope that you can grow from them. Again, if there is something, a point that you missed, or a point that you want to review, or something that came up in a topic and you want to go back and listen to, please feel free to and share it. Help our algorithm by clicking the like button, clicking subscribe. That'll give us the ability to do more for you, and it'll tell YouTube that this is the type of content that you love and like. So I'm going to read this for you guys, and we're going to call it a day. So the title for February 10 is Say, do you know where I can find a job? And the quote from Louis Armstrong was, man, if you got to ask, you'll never know. And the affirmation for today is, today I will take the initiative to help my community move forward. Today I will take the initiative to help my community move forward. And one more time for the people in the back and the person that you're going to share it to, think of them right now. Today I will take the initiative to help my community move forward. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us today, and for your patience in dealing with, some of this inclement weather and phones dying and technical difficulties. They don't want you to win, but that's no excuse for us to stop this. We could have easily said, you know what, we're not going to do it today. But no, if one person is helped out by one thing that I said in this hour-long show, then it's enough for me. That makes my heart content. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. From Jay Salam to the modest Chicana, my beautiful wife, to my mother, and dealing with my and helping my son who maybe have eaten too much, who knows. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. Y'all are family. So peace. I love y'all. Y'all take it easy. Join us next time. Peace.